This week I'm talking about inappropriate toileting, and this is when cats will wee or poo in areas that we don't want them to go in, and it's separate from urine marking that I spoke about a couple of weeks ago. In this video I'll go through the most common reasons why this might be happening with your cat. A big factor in inappropriate toileting is pain. So as with all behaviour problems, your first stop should be your vet, and there are lots of factors to consider here. Cats experiencing pain or discomfort may not be able to comfortably get into the litter tray, and so they might go and find their own place to wee that's a little bit more comfortable and easy for them to access. Urinary problems such as urinary tract infections or UTIs are common in cats, which can lead them to experience pain during urination. And this can get very complicated, as they may then associate the litter tray with the painful experience. So next time they might think, well, I'm not going in there again, it might hurt me. So they might choose to go in a different location. The problem here is that the association can last longer than the UTI. So once the infection has totally cleared up, they may still avoid the litter tray, as they might be worried that it might hurt again. And just to add to the complexity, urine problems such as feline idiopathic cystitis are often brought on by stress. So if there's a stressor in the environment, this itself may cause them to avoid the litter tray, as well as the pain and the following associations. I did say it was complicated. So it can be really hard to identify all these factors, particularly if it's your own cat and if it's happening in your house. So this is when it's really helpful to call in a qualified cat behaviourist. They will help you to pinpoint all of these factors and create a unique treatment plan specifically for your cat to target all of these different contributing factors. Okay, so once pain is ruled out or under control, there are many more reasons why your cat may decide to avoid the litter tray. One of these is you might not have a litter tray, and a lot of cats will choose to toilet outside without any problem. It's out of their living area, so it is what they prefer to do in many situations. However, there are an endless number of reasons why they might not always want to or be able to toilet outside. For example, the weather is a big one. It might just be raining, or the ground may be frozen, or too hard to dig, or it might just be very cold. The act of toileting actually leaves your cat very vulnerable and unable to defend themselves or run away very easily. So if there's anything scary in the garden, such as another cat they don't get along with, they won't want to toilet here in case they get jumped on or pounced on. And that might have already happened, so they won't want to risk that happening a second time. So they're going to be on the lookout for somewhere that's safer to go, and if there is no litter tray inside, they'll feel like they don't have much choice other than to use the carpet or the bed, for example. And the same thing can happen if there are other sources of stress and anxiety outside, such as noisy building work, traffic, next door's dog, fireworks, or anything your cat is not overly comfortable with. Sparkles, you're in the way. Another potential reason is that the litter tray may not be suitable for them, and I'll be talking in detail about how to provide the perfect litter tray later in the week. But different cats have different preferences. For example, a large cat may feel uncomfortable in a hooded tray, as it might not have enough space to manoeuvre comfortably inside. They may not like the type of litter provided. For example, some of the larger wood pellet types can be a bit uncomfortable on their paws, and so they might choose to avoid the litter tray because of this. The location of the tray is very important too. If it's near a window or a door, or maybe a cat flap, this can make them feel just as vulnerable as if they were going outside, especially if they can see other cats outside while they use it. If it's in a busy area where there's people or other animals coming and going, they might find somewhere more private to go. The litter tray needs to be kept clean too. Some cats are more fussy than others, but if the wee or poo is left to build up in the tray, they're going to be much more likely to go and find somewhere cleaner to go. As I spoke about last week, in multi-cat households, there could be competition for the litter trays, and one cat may monopolise the litter tray by blocking access to it, prompting the other cat to toilet somewhere different where they don't have to interact with the other cat. Or they may just not want to use the same toilet as another cat. So if there's not enough litter trays, this can cause them to find their own toileting location. Some cats prefer to wee and poo in separate litter trays, so even if they're the only cat in the household, they may not be happy with a single litter tray. Fear and anxiety can play a big part in inappropriate toileting too, and this will depend on the situation and what they're actually fearful of. But if a cat is anxious, they may not be confident enough to head out of their hiding place to use the litter tray, specifically if it's in an exposed location. For example, a cat that's very fearful of people will not want to use a litter tray if there are any people around, as she risks drawing attention to herself. So this is where you might find the cat wheeze behind the sofa or behind the door where it's quite private and there's no one to see, for example. And finally, the last cause I want to mention is previous toileting areas that have not been cleaned appropriately. If they can smell urine in a particular area, the risk is they will associate this as a toileting area and continue to use it. I've even had owners who have moved house and their cat has weed in the same part of the carpet as the previous owner's cat, as the previous owners hadn't cleaned it properly. So that's just given you a short overview of potential reasons why your cat might be toileting in an appropriate place. Once you can pinpoint the reason for this, it becomes a lot easier to figure out what to do to stop it, and I'll be providing lots of advice on this as the week goes on. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.